we still... Sorry, I can't hear the music. I just see this. As you know. Well, anyway. Welcome to Movie Crap Live. How is it going tonight? We're back on a Wednesday, finally. Yes. Jim, I can hear reverb. I don't know. I hope it sounds better now. Sorry, you probably just heard me moving my mic around. Be sure the settings are correct. But hello, thank you, Zane Powers, for saying that. Hello, Cornbread. I hope it sounds better now. Hello, Cornbread, Jordan Salafalo, Super Dusky, Zane Powers, Nathaniel Foga, Garrett Newell. Purple Goop, by the way, posted some cool art this week. The Zorak was really good. Hello, a guy named Crystal. All sorts of cool people in here. Wait, did I send out a tweet? I did. Oh my god, I hate when Twitter does that. Okay, we're okay. But yes, is everyone here? I hope everybody's here. Ramsey the artist as well. Welcome to another episode of Movie Crap Live. We have a lot of cool news tonight. Should I switch to the... Hello, Zodberg. Let me switch to the... Sorry. Let me switch to the picture of the video. Hey, what's up? How's it going? I hope it might look a little different because I have a light on the other side of me that my wife got recently, so that's a bit of a change. Love my favorite Sad Fish live stream show, Mopey Crap, starring Jom. I'm very confused by that. Hello, Javier Portello. But yeah, we have a light, so I'm sort of figuring out how to deal with that lighting wise. But I think it looks okay. I think it looks good and all that. Hello, Chan Talks More Movies. Got to go to the John Waters exhibit in LA. Congratulations. Zodberg, you've never made a grilled cheese before? Let's just talk about that tonight, because that's interesting. How have you gone this long with ever not make it? Yes, I am easily confused. Am I? I don't know. Now I'm just confused. I'm confused by... Wait, Sabri, really? Never in your whole life? Like, no offense. I'm just confused. I'm just surprised. Were you not... What's the story behind that? There's like a lot there. Okay, Austin said, did you see my Rocking Bullwinkle joke on Twitter? No, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first reveal... I don't buy bread regularly, but like your whole life though? Okay, I'm going to... I guess it's a personal... I just like grilled cheese, so I've always had grilled cheese. I just didn't know... You ate it? What happened? Are you okay? Is Zodberg okay? Someone do a quality of life check. Anyway, here is the thing. It is ghost. I only get these because there's a fridge in my grocery store that's evil. Why is everyone saying mopey crap? I'm not that mopey. Mopey carp? I'm confused. Anyway, it's ghost. It is electric limeade. That's why I said it has more power. Get it? Confusing. Anyway, it's a cool can. It's got like... Look, that's the thing. That's honestly where I got it. Let's see if it's good. I like lime. So, Zodberg is dying? Oh, no. More like killed cheese. Nice, Ryan. All right, cheers to you, Austin. Okay, that was pretty good. I'm into that. Okay, thank you, Austin. Okay, let's see what this amazing... Be sure... Okay. Be here next time for Jim off the clock or Jim or Gisriel coasting on the couch. Okay, so I thought that was just a late night joke. First, I'm going to like that. I thought I had liked that, so I apologize for that because in my head that had happened and it obviously happened. And I realized that is an actual Rocking Bullwinkle joke. I thought you were, because I said yours was smarter than what I thought it was, which was just... a late night. I was like confused, and now anyway, I am not dying. Okay, I'm glad to know Zodberg is okay. I think we're all relieved by that one. Anyway, it was a good. Jeez, what is up with some of YouTube? Is just, and it's not even a Chrome issue with me. Anyway, that was a good Rocky and Bullwinkle joke. Well, you know what? When I will watch more Rocky and Bullwinkle, I will be ready to get that. Clearly, Rocky and Bullwinkle is lacking in my life. I remember somebody gave a talk about animation once, and like, you know how Rocky and Bullwinkle became successful? Mexican animators, and it was very funny. It's like, exploit your friends. It's like, it was a joke, but it's not a joke. Anyway, I will keep checking on Zodberg throughout the night. This will be an official, did Zodberg survive the grilled cheese? Other than that, I can't think of too much else. Finally saw Leo. That was a fun kids movie because my daughter wanted to watch it, and it was a fine little kids movie. I fell asleep during part of it, so quality. I got to see Furiosa. I haven't shot a review yet, but I actually got to see it on a huge screen using my Regal card because Regal has a large format theater called an RPX, and they were like, you have free RPX now, apparently. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to use it. I'm going to make sure I can use that for Furiosa because I wanted to see it on a huge screen. And all the huge screens of theaters I usually go to were like sold out. And I went like, well, what's the one in Times Square? And that theater is huge and no one was there. And I was like, y'all are fucking idiots because this is amazing. And I took a video of the whole theater, but it was a cool experience, and I didn't have to pay any more money. So I'm actually, it was actually really cool. Anyway, it was amazing. I love the Mad Max movies. It's hard, you know what's funny? I don't think there's truly, there is not a bad Mad Max movie. I don't think there is. I don't think it's even possible. But we'll talk more about that and other things. I'm trying to think this part I never prepared for it. It's very obvious. Trying to think if there's anything else cool. I don't think, watching movies, I guess. I don't know. Working on stuff. I'm going to have the okay. There probably won't be timestamps because I'm sort of like cleaning up and then just doing this, cleaning up and just going right to bed. But also that but I think the movie review vote should be next, and then finally X-Men season 2. Sorry, there's been some late videos. Just wanted to get some stuff out. Been a little bit of a hectic week, but I feel like we're coming out the other side of it, and that's good. I can't think. Sorry, my phone over there blew up. I can't think of anything else. Let's just get into it. I feel like I'm floundering, talking about nonsense, and I should really get into the actual script of this, or a list of topics, really. Before I do get into it, but yeah, see Furiosa in the biggest screen possible. It is worth it. Or get Regal Unlimited because that was an awesome deal. And the Regals around me are nice. Everybody's always shitting on Regal on movie podcasts. I always hear them do that. And I do not have that experience. But the Regal I used to go to was notoriously, for like fights and people shouting at the screens and stuff. So I think what I like the chaos at my theater. I don't like it always controlled. If I want to see an art movie, I'll go to the controlled theater. But don't go to an art movie. People go to the crazy theater to see like Tree of Life, and I was like, whose fault is that? Is it the chaos or is it you? Like, come on, like just anyway. It's also Tree of Life. Prepare, like you got to be anyway. Daniel Vasquez sent a super chat. Said, "Hey Jim, what is the first movie you saw in the theater that you didn't like or hated the first time you saw it?" From Daniel Vasquez. Sorry. First off, cheers to you. I remember, it was a $5. I'll give a little bit more. This is tasty. I'm really happy with my choice with this. I'm going to be honest with you. Look at that. Nutrition facts. Zynga, I guess. Oh no, it's making me stupid. I would say there was one summer I had to, through friends, see Gone in 60 Seconds twice in theaters, and I didn't like it the first time, and I think I might have left the second time. Um, and then, man, as a kid, I remember not liking Five O Goes West as much, but still going, oh, I was trying to like coaxing, coaxing myself into believing it. But I remember, actually, yeah, maybe I'll say that one. There's other people who have these distinct memories, and I remember disliking movies at home, but it wasn't until like I was seeing movies like super regularly that I like started really hating stuff. Um, because at some point it's like you're still seeing a movie, you have to be really bad. But I do remember Five O Goes West not liking it really, and then like when I saw it on video, like saw it was on at the video store, I would just like not rent it. And at that time, like I'd have my dad like dupe tapes and stuff, and we never did that with it, even though I liked American Tail. So I haven't seen that one. I haven't done a review of American Tail. I should probably finish off the Don Bluth. Then there's a lot of crap I haven't reviewed too. Um, so throwbacks. I did Fury Road. I also posted my playlist. I reviewed every Mad Max movie before Furiosa, which is also Mad Max related. Well, anyway, so I know that I've posted that review, and I feel like most people are aware of my Fury Road review. It's sort of like a review of mine that's considered, I put it in the best of, best of myself column or whatever. So I understand if you've probably seen that posted a million times before. But if you want to watch, Road Warrior, Mad Max, the first one, or Thunderdome, those are all in there. And also that's why I'm doing California Love this week, because it's my favorite Mad Max thing that is not Mad Max. I'm excited for that one. The only reason there's one segment this week is because I spent too much time researching it, and I was like, I don't have time. I have the mental energy to prepare for two segments. I put all my chips are in California Love. There's some revelations I actually didn't know. I'm excited. And then the next throwback on Friday will be How to Train Your Dragon 2, because it's coming up on its 10th anniversary in a few weeks. And I just thought, that feels early. Maybe I shouldn't have posted it. Anyway, well, I'm going to, so whatever. It's its 10th anniversary soon, and I have a fondness for that movie. I think it's very visually, I always find it interesting because there's like a lot of visual stuff going behind, like on multiple planes and levels at the same time that are important for the story. And I thought there was not a major studio film that does that as well. I understand it has too many characters, it's a bit messy, but I still like watching it with my kids and everything like that. You've never seen California Love? Try to watch it during the break. You will. It's worth it. It's really cool. Anyway, let's get into it. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through your generous super chats we've already had two of during the show, and or my Patreon, which is linked below in the description. It has all sorts of cool stuff like postcards, the DVD giveaways, which I'm going to figure out mailing out this hopefully soon. Postcards, you get the I have the Blu-ray Powder Train already too. That's interesting, Rosie. Sorry. The sorry. You get all sorts of stuff like my commentary series, where I recently posted one. I'm going to have a Knock Force one soon, or I do my old reviews and Knock Force and kind of switch on and off, as well as it's the only place you can actually get access to my public access show on demand, although it sometimes airs, supposedly. Not sure about that one, but the only place you can watch it on demand is there, or all the episodes, exactly. And then, all sorts of cool stuff. It helps me be able to, pay bills, promote the show, do film festivals, all sorts of stuff. And I put my money back in the show, like buying new equipment, stuff like that, having the money to, if anything goes wrong, be able to take care of it with the show, and helps me continue to do it. So thank you very much if you're financially able to do so. Jana Vasquez, just give me a second, I will get to you. If you're financially able to do so, if not, liking this video and subscribing helps. You get notifications on when the stream is going to happen, throwbacks, when I have new videos out, all that stuff. It helps YouTube know you like this channel. So if you do and you watch a lot, that's a good way to get more of that stuff to you directly. If you cannot do any of those things and you just are sort of watching it and can't even sign into Google or whatever, which I've heard I have a few of those, then thank you for watching. Your view is appreciated, and just you being here is awesome enough. But if you're financially able to do more, thank you for doing so. I very, very much appreciate it. Daniel Vasquez says, I'm sorry you saw Gone in 60 Seconds twice in theaters, but not Titan AA once in theaters like you wanted. That's true. Why didn't I do that summer? Those summers was like, I don't know. First off, cheers to you. I think, you know what I think what happened to me? In 2000, 2001 with movies is 99, I'm not joking, really overwhelmed me. And like I was still catching up on 99, and all those movies were so good, and 2000 was like not a great follow-up year to 99, and I think I got like, I'd see a few things but not as much. Anyway, I wasn't seeing stuff as regular. Anyway, if you like the community here and want to hang out with them anytime other than just during the show, a great place to do that is on the Discord, where you can see the grilled cheese that may or may not have killed Zodberg, as well as allegedly, I don't know if he's still alive, he hasn't been in the chat, we don't know, but as well as all sorts of cool stuff like the thumbnail, the cornbread posts. They do movie watches, or his thumbnail predictions. They do movie watches every week. I'm not sure what they're doing this week. It's a great community. I asked what they're going to talk about, what I should talk about in movie crap earlier in the day for this. You can ask me questions. You can give suggestions. You can, do art promo. We do licensed playing cards, which I have right here. These Back to the Future cards that will never die, and all sorts of cool stuff like that. I'm hoping describing this well. Sorry. Am I? I hope so. It's a great community. It's the Discord I am the most active on, and if you like hearing whatever everyone is going on in the chat, and think, hey, they seem cool, there's a place you can go and hang out, and there's a daily question in general. General's my favorite one. I think I'm in general the most. I don't know. But yeah, I seriously, Zodberg is still alive, but I would place to talk about playing cards. Why would Zodberg write Zodberg? Sounds like the grilled cheese is actually writing and Zodberg is dead. That's what I'm suggesting. Anyway, Cats Don't Dance? Okay, I've actually not seen it. Anyway, it is a really cool Discord server. It's really good vibes and good community, and there's a lot of good channels. I highly suggest you join if you are interested. The link is in the description down below. Also, I have a Instagram personal and the Reels one, TikTok, Twitter, which I'm probably most active on, Tumblr, Facebook. It is all in the description down below if you would like to follow any of those also. All right. So today we got the Moana 2 teaser trailer. I think Moana 2 is in an interesting place right now. Moana 1 is still, I think as of last year, on the top 10 most streamed movies list at like almost every year. So it's an obvious idea that Moana would get a sequel. I don't think any studio would be insane not to do that. It's just money in the bank. But I think there's a couple things going against it. One is, of course, that following anything directed by Ron Clements and John Musker, Ron Clements and John Musker is I would not want to be one of those guys. That sounds like it sucks. Good luck. As well as the fact that it was, a TV show that was then turned into the sequel and stuff like that. But the teaser itself, I think, was actually really cool. It was entertaining. My kids wanted to watch, hey, Ace the Wind Rider. Kids wanted to watch it twice. We don't have any idea of what the plot or the conflict is, other than it seems like they're voyaging more. What's going on there? What the deal is there? But I don't really. I'm confused. I'm curious what the actual hook is. The thing at the end, which Cornbread mentioned in the chat, but where Maui shows up and picks up the chicken and the pig. It's interesting. The pig was originally supposed to get on the boat. That's why there's like, when Moana came out, there's all this merch of the pig, but because they change those movies so much, like Disney and Pixar do, pretty regularly, up until the last minute. I thought that was like they're both on the boat this time was sort of I was like, is that sort of a meta joke because the pig was supposed to be on the boat originally, not the chicken. I'm not sure. I'm curious how that was changed, but to my understanding, like there's even images of the pig on the boat, so I don't know. It looked fine. It's like a nice teaser, but I do think this kind of announced that it's kind of funny. Before this trailer came out, and we will talk about box office for a bit in this because box office is a major story this week. Not in a good way. That I think before this, everyone was like, "Oh, well, Thanksgiving. Like, how big is Wicked going to be?" And maybe people are underestimating Wicked. And maybe they're doing this and blah blah blah. And I was like, as soon as like they started promoting Moana 2 and said the release date, it was the same as Wicked. I was like, Wicked is second choice and is not going to open well next to this. Wicked is going to be destroyed by Moana 2. Every family is seeing Moana 2 first. That's not a debate. That is what's going to happen with Moana 2. So I think it's kind of interesting. I was like, why would you even release something against that movie? I think it's because Moana 2 was so of a last minute rush job, it sounds like, that I'm sure Universal is a little like, what the fuck? What do we do? I actually haven't seen what I forget what the Christmas stuff is. I think Wicked would work better in the Wonka slot, to be honest with you, but I think Moana 2, I like that's gonna be a blockbuster. Every kid's gonna want to see that. Like my kid, when I was like, "Oh, there's a Moana teaser," my kids were like excited, and but Moana is a huge movie, and I think it has been in terms of influence and how much we talk about it, sort of underestimated actually. And I think we're about to see, whereas like Frozen is sort of was underestimated before it came out, and then that has never been the situation since. But I do think like people do not know fully. Like I expect this to be maybe 100 million opening with Moana if the concept is good enough. So we'll see. But it almost makes you think though that they should have maybe waited until they had a stronger Moana 2 before just doing a rush job. But whatever, that's a whole other situation. Like you'd think if it was like this big of a movie, you could wait a year or something. But this year is weird, and we will get more into that. That it sort of ties into other things. Maybe I shouldn't have had it first, but it is interesting. I think Disney threw down the gauntlet today, and I know people say that with like Glee. I don't say that with Glee. I say that with like maybe one of you should have figured something out. And if I was working in Universal, I'd be like, so like we could still change the release date right now. Like we could get away with that. Like right now we're okay. Anyway, I'm not saying it as like I'm gleeful that Disney is doing well. I'm like, I'm more like, I don't know. It's an interesting business practice. I'm curious what the thing is. I will talk about Wolves later. Wolves on my list. At the beginning of the show, but I will talk about Wolves. Don't worry, Cinram. So Doug Walker, or the Nostalgia Critic. See, I didn't forget. It's in the thumbnail. Last time I forgot about Smiling Friends till the end. Was on the 4th episode of Smiling Friends this past week. I think it was a fun cameo. It wasn't a surprise because Ostrich Vox posted it on Twitter, and that's how it was spoiled for me. But I also saw other people post it after him. But he was the first, so we can blame Kevin, I guess. Sorry. But he's a good guy, though. Sorry, apologies. But he, it was a surprise. It was funny. He did the Nostalgia Critic bit and all that stuff. I think Smiling Friends is really good at doing It's the 7th episode. Are you fucking kidding me? That's not true. What? I'm not going to look into that. Anyway, it was a fine episode. I thought it was funny about the boss and everything like that. But it was a fun cameo. I think there has been a little bit of a discussion because of everything with Change the Channel and everything like that, that it kind of sucked for people who like Smiling Friends and were stuck with this guy who was their boss or was shitty to them or something like that. I'm actually not. I'm a little confused on the whole thing with. Oh, god damn it, Same Powers. I'm a little confused on. So my understanding from both Lindsay Ellis and Todd in the Shot, I know they're still close, that they were basically like, I don't really have a problem with Doug. I have more of a problem with like the other people, and that's sort of what I had heard. There's so many people involved in the Channel Awesome thing. I don't know everyone's individual stance on Doug Walker, so like I'm not gonna sit here and like I knew the few I watch Todd in the Shadows regularly. I used to watch Lindsay Ellis, but other than that, I don't really watch them. Link Cara that much or anything. But yeah, I was sort of confused by the I don't know. So many people were like, "Oh, this sucks. Like he shouldn't have been doing this. All this stuff." I don't really mind it, but I don't know. I to my understanding, he wasn't as directly responsible, but I also like understand there's more nuances to it, and there's certain things like it's an issue I talked about and don't think about, so maybe there are more problems with it based on him directly. But it was like people got into it because of his but people signed up because of him and stuff like that. So Ryan Walterson, by source, Ryan Walterson said he saw a stream with Doug Walker. He did a Q&A stream, and basically Zach and Michael asked him last year to do it. They deliberately, I'm just quoting Ryan Walterson, they deliberately asked him to play it as himself and did a bunch of different costumes and takes. Please, and I'm serious, like he should just release the full video. I don't know if it's a Time Warner asked for all the rights, but I would love to see all the takes. I think that'd be funny. I don't know. To me, it's like I thought it was a fun cameo. I think some of the people I saw post it were just like, I feel like it was an engagement thing. But I don't know, and I know there's so many different people who are signed up for that. I don't want to. I'm talking about the people who were not part of Channel Awesome. Those people I can say that about. If you were part of Channel Awesome, you were offended. That's up to you. And I wasn't there, and maybe weren't part of in the change the channel thing, and it's worse or whatever. I'm sure I will say this from personal experience, when you see someone you used to know and they're suddenly on TV, it's a weird experience. And I get like, if you were surprised, that might have been an odd experience. And I get, because all these people are very much terminally online, that you get a mixture of reactions to that. So that I understand. But I do think, I will say there are a few people who are not really involved in that, who were being overly, I guess, cautious and stuff like that. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool of him to do it. I thought it was fun to make fun of himself, of that. I forget who said it on my Twitter or somewhere, said that like it was funny that it's highly suggested most of the video was just ads, which is funny, as he is known for like having a lot of ads. So it's like a cool little joke for him. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was one of the best things he's done in a long time. Obviously it like helps him out and helps his brand or whatever we're calling it. But I did think it was a fun little thing, and it definitely surprised. I like how internet savvy they are, because I think they realize how that cameo would be, perceived, which I think is a smart. I don't know. I think it's a smart thing to do. I think they understood what that cameo represented to people. And Doug Walker, he's not my personal influence, but I think he does represent something to it. And it showed a sense of humor, an extreme, and it was a funny bit. It also like gets to like how a lot of YouTube videos are just nonsense copy and ads, and like, let's make fun of that. And I thought that was funny. So it was a good episode as well as Smiling Friends. I liked the whole thing with like the boss's new wife and like making fun of that stuff. I thought was really funny. I will review season 2 as well as X-Men 97 season 1 and all that stuff. Yeah, the robot doll thing, I was unaware of that. I did not know that viral video, to be honest with you. I like how often they do these weird things, but anyway, all right. let's go. We're going through the topics. So we learned that John Waters is having trouble getting money for Liarmouth. He hasn't found an investor as of yet, even though Audrey Plaza is attached and he can't find, the person who will give him the right budget for this kind of thing. I found this to be super depressing. I know he's had trouble recently making money. And I think it kind of sucks that he can't get anywhere with this. You'd think a Hulu or a Netflix would step up, but we'll get back into that. Nathaniel Focus said, I had a cosplay of Nostalgia Critic planned for the next day at MomoCon prior to seeing the cameo, so it definitely felt topical to wear. Hey, that worked out for you. Hey, congrats. Look at Nathaniel Foga. Look at him. Cheers to you. Glad it worked out for you. Cheers to you. Hope you had a good time at MomoCon. It seemed like you did. But anyway, the John Waters thing. I've heard the crowdfunding thing. I think the thing with crowdfunding is it like opens you up to a lot of criticism. He might not want to do that. He might want to do the studio thing. It's also like if you do crowdfunding, you still have to find a distributor and where to put it out. I think, to my understanding, he wants to do this theatrically. But I don't understand, like, John Waters comes with a particular, a cult thing, and I feel like maybe, sadly, because, like, when Mystery Science Theater happened, Netflix and all those things were very much like, let's get the cult stuff over with us so that we can get subscribers, and I feel like maybe that era is over, and had this been pitched in 2016 or 2017, maybe it would have happened, unfortunately. But I'm still also like, I do think there are a lot of people who will not cancel their Netflix or keep Max or something like that if you have a John Waters movie. So I would like it to happen. But I'm also a massive John Waters fan, and I was already planning, like, if this comes out, I'm going to go down to Maryland that weekend. I'm going to see it in fucking Baltimore and all that stuff. So I hope it happens. I think A24 Neon or whatever, like, I doubt this would cost that much. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know how much he's asking for. Like, if he's asking for Megalopolis money, no, I don't think that, I love him, but I don't think that's a good financial investment. But if he's asking for, like, I don't know, I'm curious what he's asking for. I think that's probably part of the question. But if he wants to do crowdfunding, I think that would work out for him. Black Sea, don't worry, I'll get to you after this. But I do think it's sad to hear. I haven't lost all hope yet. But the fact that he says he's been to everyone and he hasn't been able to raise the funds doesn't make me feel great. And also that, like, I'll talk about Megalopolis later, but, like, that is a Francis Ford Coppola movie. And no one, we don't have U.S. distribution yet. Like, I think, like, some of these weirder, more interesting auteur things are having a harder time, specifically returning directors, because they don't have the box office there. But I would say, like, look at, Waters had a huge Academy exhibit recently. You'd think they would actually be able to get him a distribution. Like, where is Neon? Where is A24? What's the point of these people without John Waters? Because, New Line happened, was basically before it was the house that Freddie built. It was the John Waters distributor. So I think somebody should step up and, like, give this guy some fucking money. I don't understand what the big deal is. It pisses me off. It makes me sad. I don't know. He's one of my filmmaking kind of inspirations, and I'm really upset, actually, to be honest with you, that we won't get another one. I think he deserves that, and I think he's done enough for culture and things like that, and his movies can't be that much, and it just, to me, it's like, even if maybe he's refusing to do streaming or maybe something like that, but I don't really understand, because he's a quality filmmaker. Anyway. I'm not, to be honest, like, this stuff doesn't make me upset. It's just like, here, like, a couple of things recently about the arts just make me feel sad. And it's like Jonah Ray having to bartend to make ends meet, Andy Merrill having to do delivery stuff just to get by, and he's, like, basically, like, on Twitter being like, why aren't I involved in Me Tunes? And I'm like, I don't know. It just sucks and it bothers me, and I wish I could help them, but I can barely help myself. So I don't know. Sometimes the roughness of all this makes me sad. So anyway, so apologies. I don't. The older I get, the less I want to get on a rage and be like, "You motherfuckers, you should support this stuff." And the more I'm like, "This is just how it is." But I do think, like, somebody do a fundraiser if he's willing to do that. I know Spike Lee did it before for his movie, although he got some shit for it. But I do think, like, maybe we need to be considering that. But you still need a place to put it afterwards, and maybe that's what he's looking for. Anyway, Black Sea. Oh, come on, God, fucking YouTube. Okay, sorry, Black Sea. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your patience. Said, hey, Jim, visiting my hometown tomorrow for the first time in a decade. My little brother is graduating from high school. 8-hour bus. Ooh. You can watch, I think you can watch all of X-Men 97 in that. First off, cheers to you, Black Sea. Congratulations to your little brother. Give him a high five and said Kevin James gave it from Kevin James to you. Says you didn't give it. This is the first super chat ever, I think, from you. It doesn't have a Kevin James reference, but good luck going back to your hometown. You know what I used to do? First off, actual cheers and I'll drink. I used to watch the movie Young Adult when I'd go home, and it made me less like, oh, I have to deal with that person. Oh, they said this to me, 10 years ago or whatever, and it put me in the right headspace, I guess. So try to watch something. Put yourself, but 8 hours. Good luck. Good luck. You definitely love your little brother if you're doing that. So I hope you have a good time. And oof, that's a rough one. I'm sorry. All right. So we've learned, and why Furiosa is in the thumbnail is more to do with the box office thing, less to do with this. This is just a quick thing that there is a Furiosa black and chrome cut. I don't know. I like the Fury Road black and white thing, and I like George Miller does it, but I hate that, like, because Fury Road did it, all these other movies did it, and they clearly were not meant to be. And at least I don't know. It's gonna both download both Paul Blarts and Here Comes the Boom. Wasn't Here Comes the Boom good, actually? I don't know. That's what I remember hearing. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm curious for Furiosa black and chrome. I don't think I want every other movie in black and white unless you were actually shot for that. I found that whole trend to be obnoxious, but I did like that Fury Road did it. Next time we're back to Kevin James Super Chats. Okay, never change. So the Knives Out cast, and I didn't check on this since, but since people kept getting revealed throughout the day, but here's who we've learned is in the Knives Out 3 cast, which is called Dead Man. Is it something Dead Man? Turn Me Over Dead Man, something like that. It's based on a U2 song. Here's who we have announced right now is obviously Daniel Craig, but we have Kerry Washington, Josh O'Connor, who is Prince Charles in The Crown, also in Challengers, Kaylee Spenny, who I guess was Priscilla, Andrew Scott, who's a great actor, and Glenn Close. It sounds like an interesting cast. Here's my thing, is these are all people who can get work. Wake up, Dead Man. Thank you. Gonna have a lot of these in the chat now. I think with ensembles, I've heard rumors of Lindsay Lohan and Tom Hardy seem to be the two that people keep saying are going to happen. They have not been confirmed as far as I have heard. But I'm sorry, I should do the J10 thing. Sorry. Anyway, maybe I should. Anyway, I'm just like, just make it Daniel Craig and the Muppets. Like, any other combination is just not as interesting. But I'm also like, I think a Muppets Knives Out would be the pinnacle. But I'm also like, just get weirder, older actors. Like, Paul Giamatti should be here. Get somebody I forgot about from 10 years ago. Like, what? Like, just make it a weird collection of people. And this just seems like people who are hot already. Like, not like, I'm not being gross, but like who are already like pretty successful and big names. And it's like, I get you can do that, but like that gets way less interesting to me. And I do think, like, let's get like as many different like weird character actors I also wouldn't mind like a Poker Face, Knives Out crossover, but I guess those are different streaming services, so you can't do that. Unfortunately. We actually we have two sort of Glenn Powell news, which because he's doing interviews for, I guess the Hitman actually, no Hitman, which is supposed to be, is coming on Netflix soon. It's supposed to be really good. But he gave an update. I didn't know Glenn Powell was involved in the Captain Planet movie, which is odd to me. But I guess he would be playing Captain Planet and not like Matee or something. I didn't realize this was still going, but supposedly he is. I just find it weird because he's so against like I won't be in Marvel movies, I won't be in this, but I'm like, but you're gonna be in like Captain Planet? I mean, that's like definitely a superhero. Like I don't know. I don't understand when people are like, hey, I won't do a Marvel movie, but will I definitely do a different superhero movie? I'm like, I don't. And then he was like, but my take on Batman would be super dark, and I'm like, what? Why do people do these kind of press runs? I don't. Just say like I'm not interested in the cape stuff. I don't really understand. Like I find that to be bizarre. Like I don't have a problem if you're not in Marvel movies, but like anyway, I do find it interesting, and I brought this up on Twitter before for other people, but I will say like, and I will get into this with the Tom Cruise thing because there's a Tom Cruise element to this, which is super weird. That like one of the things about Tom Cruise that I find interesting about his early career is he is most known for an '80s teen movie, and as soon as the Brat Pack thing started, he left Hollywood and was in London for majority of like from Risky Business starting up until like Top Gun and shooting that Ridley Scott movie Legend, but he was still basically like counting himself out of the Brat Pack. And if you're like, oh, that didn't work, they still consider him an '80s teen person. Well, they don't, because when you think of the Brat Pack, you don't think of him at all. And so it's like it was smarter for him to just not be involved than to be doing interviews being like, I'll never be in a Brat Pack movie or something. So it makes you not a part of it, but also you're not like, talking shit or something. I think it's a better strategy in the long run because there's no like dumb quote from Tom Cruise. Anyway, I had read that was an on purpose career decision. And I think a lot of these actors could learn from him that you could just like not. I'm not saying like I'm like protective over Marvel. It's just like I think we're all sick of these press runs where they're like, oh, I hate stupid Marvel. I'll never be in a Marvel movie. It'd be smarter if you're just like, I'll just not do them and never talk about it. And then you're not part of it and you have your own conversation, much like how Tom Cruise does. Anyway, like Emilio Estevez, even in Mission Impossible, like he's definitely friends with those guys, but he just made a conscious, smart decision to not be a part of it. Just do that. Like, you don't have to be doing. Look, I don't like sports. You don't see me tweeting every day how much I don't want to watch sports. Like, I probably have in the past, but I don't make it a habit where you're like, God damn it, stop doing that. It's just annoying. I don't know. Especially like if you're gonna do just other IP and then talk about other superheroes, it gets a little like, okay, dude, I find that odd. I would much rather if they instead shut on the Disney live action remakes. That I would be okay with. Do that as much as you want. But anyway, this is a real story. I want to point this out. Glenn Powell in the same interview revealed that there's and this is like this is my new obsession movie. This is a real thing. Supposedly this is the story as I read it. He showed up to a theater and he was told Tom Cruise is going to teach you about filmmaking. This is I'm not making this up. This is a real thing. He's going to teach you about filmmaking, and he goes to a theater. Theater's empty, and it's a 6-hour movie of literally. I'm not joking about this. Tom Cruise explaining the entire film business to you, and apparently part of this is like, because he made it for Top Gun, is him explaining an airplane, and he will explain like everything, like why airplanes fly, like why you shoot them this way, like all this very stuff. Now, Glenn Powell didn't go into all of the 6 hours, which is extremely disappointing because why he spent the time telling us like he'd make a darker Michael Keaton Batman or whatever the fuck. I would much rather hear about what hour 4 was like in the Tom Cruise filmmaking lesson. This is my new The Day the Clown Cries. I am so obsessed with this idea that Tom Cruise made a version of a personal journey through American movies with Martin Scorsese, but it's just Tom Cruise telling you everything about filmmaking and having a movie star career. Like that Tom Cruise, this whole time he's making it, he takes breaks and he works on a 6-hour movie that he then projects in a theater, like a screening. Apparently was it a full theater? Was it like an AMC and theater 5 is Tom? That's like the weirdest thing. Anyway, I hope there's a part like 3 hours in where he just like looks at the camera and tells you something like extremely fucked up about the film industry that only he knows. And he goes, anyway, it's true. Everyone says it's not, and here's the proof. And he shows you all the proof of it. And he goes, anyway, back to being a movie star. And it's like the most horrific shit you didn't even know. And it's like horrific. He goes, that's just a part of the industry. Deal with it. Anyway, so part of doing press, and like you're just like, what the fuck? That's what I imagine it is. Like just in the middle, he just drops like some crazy truth bomb that like melts your brain, and then he gets into like, so percentages when you're a movie star, or like picking a good manager, and then he'll be like, capitalism is the root of all evil, or something. I don't know. It's something beyond that. I just imagine it is the craziest crap you've ever heard, just random, and the rest is like that's what I meant. And then he'll say like why he's gonna go to space. Like he'll actually tell you what the deal is with the space movie, which we haven't heard any updates on. This is like such a yeah, I'm very fascinated. Like what is the 6-hour Tom Cruise movie? Right? Like what's in there? That how much is about Kubrick? How much is about Spielberg? How much is about that he divorced his wife before he had to pay her more alimony? How much is all of that? I am extremely curious. Anyway, he only mentioned it. He said he can't get into it or something. Fucking lame. If Tom Cruise sends me this movie, I will review it. I will make a Jenny Nicholson type video about Tom Cruise's 6 hours. Please, I hope when Tom Cruise dies, which probably will never happen, but whenever that happens, I hope somebody releases this thing. I'm extremely curious. Like, there's got to be something weird in there, right? That's really what I care about. But I'd also actually like to learn, like, how he feels about filmmaking. Maybe in the middle, he'll be like, and that's why, guys, I made Night and Day. And you just stand up and start clapping. Like, that's right, guys. Night and Day. I watched that on an airplane once, sort of. All right. Anyway, He-Man was cast today. I had an interesting reaction to this. Sorry I went on that rant. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Glenn Powell doesn't get it. He doesn't. He could be making YouTube videos. If Tom Cruise sends me the 6-hour movie, I will buy all the plushies. I don't think I'm really a plush person. I think if I really could go crazy with the action figures and stuff, you'd be like, why did you just buy Power of the Force and New Mutants toys? This is not interesting to anyone but you. And I'd be like, yeah, that's right. But He-Man was cast today for the Master Universe movie that's going to be directed by Travis Knight. Yeah, I actually had a weird reaction to this because at first I saw the picture and I went, the fuck? Well, I wish Tom Cruise, well, at least we know Zodberg is still alive. I'm glad to know, or maybe it's the girl she's typing for him. But yeah, the Travis Knight Master Universe, when I first saw the picture of Nicholas Galitzine, I guess, I was like not into it. And then I was like, I was going to tweet something like that I don't like this casting. And then I was like, let me look up this guy. And I realized I've seen him in 2 movies. One is Bottoms, and the other is Idea of You. And he was drastically different in both. So I will give him the credit that most of what I've heard about him is how versatile he is. And so someone who the 2 movies I've seen him in are pretty different, I am actually kind of interested. I'm like, okay. And I definitely came around. So As someone who's seen his work, I'm actually kind of interested, even though at first, I think when you see however they chose the pictures next to which that's a whole, I've heard movie press people go on about like the pictures they pick with casting and the reasons they pick the pictures of casting and all that stuff. But like, I wish he doesn't really have a He-Man type picture yet. So I think you're definitely going to go like that to it. But reading up on him, I think this could work out. I'm open to this. I think it's actually a pretty decent one. I'm sure he did a good job. Just let's give this guy credit. Let's hope this works out. Well, okay. Would Tommy Tooby? The real question is, I think Tommy Tooby could get the Tom Cruise 6 hour movie. I think he could. I think Tommy would be like, look, Tommy boy, come on, man. Between two Tommies, you can get me. We'll put it on Tubi. We'll cut it into 3 parts. I'll put ads all over the fucking thing. I'll make more money than that Top Gun, whatever, the second one that you did or whatever, the Top Gun, The Way of the Waters. It'll be huge. Everybody will love the Tom Cruise. Tubi will explode. We're the biggest thing. Netflix can't even compete with our shit. It's going to be fucking amazing, Tommy. You're going to love this. Come on. This is going to be like Taps all over again. When we used to work together when I was an actor as an extra and we did some crazy shit. And Tom Cruise will say no, and Tommy's like, can I just see it? I want to be a movie star. I'd love it. And Tom Cruise says, there's no way. I'm sorry. So, you know what? I bet you Ben Stiller does a cameo as his Tom Cruise thing. I bet that happens. Anyway, let's get into the Me Tunes schedule. You know what the others... I was going to... Anyway. Tommy Tooby would cast Dollar Store. You know what that would be funny? Is if you tried to make your own Tom Cruise 6 hour filmmaking movie, but you couldn't afford Tom Cruise. And so it's not really like I don't know. I might, if I can find multiple articles on the Tom Cruise filmmaking 6 hour movie, I will make a Lost Film File on this. Like I am actually very interested. Anyway, so we got the schedule for MeTunes. Today there was kind of a more pressier one that I first posted. If you follow me on Twitter and all that, and then I posted the full schedule. MeTV or MeTunes is going to start on, was it end of June something. But we learned the thing. Some highlights to me. First off, Captain Planet and the Planeteers will actually be back on Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock, which is a return to, I think, when I watched them as a kid. As well as the big thing for me, here's the real test. I got to say this, of any cartoon channel. What are they playing at 1 a.m.? That's who they really are. Like, deep down. You know what I mean? Deep down, who you really are is what you play at 1 a.m. I want to say that right now. But also, okay, so at 1 a.m. on weeknights, first off, the Underdog show at 12:30. Fuck yeah. Then at 1, no, let's talk about this late night lineup right now. Starting at 8 o'clock, Bugs Bunny and Friends for 2 hours. Fuck yeah. That's Monday through Friday. Then 10 to 11, Cartoon All-Stars. That's like, Tom and Jerry. Sorry, I could probably... Let me zoom in. Can we zoom in? No, it's not letting me. Oh, no, I did let. Okay, sorry. So we have Bugs Bunny, Cartoon All Stars, and then at 11 o'clock, and this is my new late night show, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends. That sounds amazing. Every night at 11, and then Tune In With Me, which is supposedly has a puppet host, and they just introduce random cartoons. I didn't know that because I don't watch MeTV that much. And then Underdog show, and then at 1 a.m. This is the creme de la creme. This is how you know they've got the shit, is Speed Racer every night at 1 a.m. Oh my goodness. And then also on weekends, you have things like Alf, the Alf cartoon. You have, first off, on Saturdays, you have 2 hours of Alf from 6 to 8. 2 episodes of Alf, the animated series, and then 2 episodes of Alf Tales. Alf Tales is also on Sundays from 6 to 7. So there's no need to go to church. You can just worship at the altar of Alf. Then you also have Hysteria, which is going to be on from 9 to 10, which is probably taking care of their educational information thing. But I'm glad Hysteria is back. I fucking love that. Woody Woodpecker's on Monday to Friday from 4 to 5. Yogi Bear is on. It's not on regular. Oh, Flintstones are on 7 to 8 every night with the Jetsons. Oh my god, I'm loving this. Police Academy, the animated series, the real Ghostbusters are on maybe a little too late there. That maybe change that one. Oh no, but the real Ghostbusters and Josie and the Pussycats Wacky Racers is 1 to 2 on a Saturday. Anyway, this sounds like a channel I'm just gonna leave on a lot. Oh, they even have Scooby Doo Sunday specials from 3 to 4:30 every Sunday. Man, I'm excited for this. Anyway, it sounds like this is going to be real cool. I just wanted to go through it. I don't know. Ryan was asking me actually. Oh God, they're playing the greatest adventure stories from the Bible from 7 to 7:30. So guess what? You don't need to go to church. You can just watch that, followed by Inspector Gadget. Man, this is some good stuff. To guess other shows they're going to play. I don't know. I kind of want to be surprised, to be honest with you, but I'm definitely going to put this on more than I thought. They have a lot of cool stuff. Mr. T at 5:30 in the morning, guys. 5:30 before Alf Tales on Sunday. No need to go to church ever again. That's what it sounds like to me. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to go through that. I think it's amazing. The Ed Grimley and Mr. T. The Ed Grimley cartoon? Sounds like we're cooking with gas here. All right. I'll talk, because Sinram asked, well, no, I'll save the Wolves trailer. I'm sorry. I should get going here on this. All right. So let's talk about the box office. This is going to be maybe less fun because shit ain't good. Let's be real here. The shit is not good. I'm going to take... This is just for me. Just because I need some energy. And it's tasty and it's so cold right now. So, all right. So this was one of the worst box office weekends in a while. It's probably the worst box office we've had since 2021. Meaning that 2022 and 2023 were better than this, opening with Garfield and Furiosa. Hello, Nutbox 64. It's bad, and this summer is not good box office wise. Now, there's a lot of things that are kind of misinformation about the box office, which I notice are not getting mentioned as much, and I wanted to bring them up because we need to talk about them to fully explain this. So, first off is, how did we get here? Well, in 2020, there was a pandemic. Now, part of it is that. But the other thing is this, and there's two major factors that kind of fuck up this summer. One is, there was a strike last year. Production stopped for 6 months. A lot of how this year was going to be laid out, and last year was going to be laid out, changed dramatically because things had to be moved all over the fucking place. If you can find a 2024 calendar, I don't think MeToons is going to be streaming from what I understand, but maybe they'll change that. If you look at a calendar before the strikes, I'm curious what that would have been. However, the other thing is, and this messes up every summer that it happens for summer movie season, is a World Cup year. And generally, because that fucks up all of the international releases, because no one's going to be going to the movies, they're going to be watching the World Cup, that changes everything. As well as, and Nuttenbox kind of beat me to the punch here, nobody has any fucking money right now. Everybody, financially, no one's doing great. So that doesn't help either. So those are other situations. People are like, why audiences can't appreciate Furiosa, all this stuff. I do think people are fucking dumb and should have got on their asses to see a great movie. However, at the same time, the overall picture of this summer, there are certain things how the summer has gone the way it has, where you have things like, they really tried to launch something like If, and they tried to launch something like The Fall Guy, and it didn't work out, and I applaud them for that. Oh, and the Olympics for this summer? God damn it. Yeah, it's not good. None of this is working out for them. So this was always going to be a rough summer, but had Deadpool and Wolverine, for example, open at the beginning of May like it was supposed to, we'd be talking about a different situation. I don't know if Furiosa would have done that much better had that happened. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. We'll see. The other thing is, and I talked about Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, Everyone's hyping this up like it's going to be, Marvel Jesus, like you said in the trailer, and that's fine and all that stuff. But at the same time, I highly believe that 2024 will go down the top three. Potentially, could just be animated sequels. We could be seeing. I think Despicable Me 4 will probably be the highest grossing movie of the year, and then after that, Inside Out 2, and then or Moana 2 will be the top one. So this your solution is that we should ban all sports. Thank you, Zane Powers. I've been saying that forever. Thank you. I mean, the Olympics financially do not work out for any city they're in, so I sort of agree with that one. But yes, we should ban all sports for everyone ever and just watch movies. I don't see what the big fucking problem is. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. But before we get to summer schedule wise, I don't. Bad Boys 4 is like a major question mark because of Will Smith. Because 3 like was the highest grossing movie of 2020, but like sort of by default. So I don't think anyone's really sure how. It seems like nobody's really doing that. But I do think Inside Out 2 is right now tracking around $80 million opening. So that's going to do well for Pixar. So I could see that being in the top 3, no question about that. I do think Moana 2 will be huge. Could Moana 2 outgross Inside Out 2? I think the potential is there, but Inside Out 2 will obviously get a lot more time to be in theaters than Moana 2, so we'll see. And then Despicable Me 4, those Despicable Me movies make $1 billion. There's really nothing. No, it's okay. I think everyone's okay, but don't worry. What I'm also telling you is there's only one Despicable Me movie that made less than a Deadpool movie. The rest of them all made more. So to me, I just don't think. I think this whole hype of Deadpool and Wolverine will save us all is sort of dumb because animation is going to save our asses twice over before Deadpool even comes out. So like this whole idea is fucking dumb. But I do think we're going to be praising Pixar and Illumination real soon. Expect that to be happening way before Deadpool and Wolverine, and also the view of Disney will change because notice 3 of the movies I've talked about of being big hits are Inside Out 2, Moana 2, and Deadpool and Wolverine. That's all Disney. So I do think this will be a comeback belief of Disney and all that. I think Inside Out 2 will be huge. Also, the thing with Pixar and Illumination is there are certain families who like don't go to the movies very much. Like they see 2 to 3 movies a year, which is I've also read people say if 2 to 3 people went to the movies every year, it would bring back the box office, which is probably true. But there are still those people, and there are people who, if there's a Pixar out, they will see it. And that Inside Out 2 is not only that, but it will bring back box office, things like that. So I just want to clear those things up. But it is interesting. The box office was so bad last weekend. Little Mermaid around Memorial Day made about $95 million. Just Little Mermaid. And the overall box office of last weekend was just a little over $100 million. So that shows you like how disparity-wise, how bad in comparison the last 2 years were. Because to say like one movie, and plus obviously it was much more than 100 million a year ago, and how we've gone down that bad is pretty insane. So 2025, AMC has even publicly said will be a much bigger year. They're excited for Superman and Fantastic Four and all that stuff. But in 2024, I think they like can see the light at the end of the tunnel and they're being optimistic. But expect like there's going to be a lot of doom and gloom shit that's going to be going on at the box office that we're going to be hearing about. But I would say animation is going to bring it back. But I think, honestly, like as much as people are like, will Twisters break out? Will this? Like maybe, but let's shut the fuck up because the chances of animation being the top 3 is pretty much inevitable. And I think it speaks more to how the industry relies very much on these studios like Disney, like Pixar, like Illumination to keep the money train going more so than anything to do with Marvel or DC and all that stuff. Like these are the reliable income sources that continue to churn and churn. And I think like maybe Hollywood should, especially with the Animation Guild stuff, which I didn't really get to get into, is a little too complicated. I think for me to just banter about. But I think we should be paying them more if this is how much we're relying on them. Because the fact of the matter is, if you're relying on Deadpool and Wolverine and Twisters and King of the Planet of the Apes, which did do well, it's not probably going to work out for you. So I think I think it's interesting that box office take, but it was not a great weekend, unfortunately. I hope Furiosa does better. I didn't really want to get into the actual numbers. I just wanted to talk about perceptions and box office, but we were in a very bad weekend last weekend. But the fact that Little Mermaid almost made more than what our overall box office was this year is not fucking good. Like that is a disaster, and there's no other way to talk about it. I love Furiosa. I will make a review of it later, but the fact that those numbers, if you're in the theatrical business, there's just no way to make that good. I'm sorry, I think Garfield costs about $60 million. My kids and I are gonna see it together. I will eventually see that one. That will bounce back. Furiosa, it's a little harder. I saw that article in Hollywood Reporter today that doesn't actually mention any new quotes from Warner's or George Miller about how Mad Max The Wasteland, which was going to be basically, there was Fury Road, and it took so long to make Fury Road, they ended up writing Furiosa and Mad Max The Wasteland. The idea was the last one, I guess, the last Mad Max movie would be Mad Max The Wasteland, and they were hoping Furiosa would do well, and so they could make the other one. And that, since that has not happened, the belief is that The Wasteland won't happen. But probably, but acting like it's an actual news story is probably I don't know, kind of the trades inventing a news story that is still there, but they haven't said that. No one said that that's not happening. Maybe. I know, like what I did with my George Miller thing. I forgot to talk about that earlier on. Anyway, the George Miller thing, how he has the rights to certain Mad Max stuff. Maybe he has enough rights he can go to another studio. Maybe Apple will be like, we'll pay for The Wasteland, because what if Furiosa still gets all those Oscar nominations? Because a lot of people have said it's not going to be a necessarily strong year. So we'll see. But I know a lot of people have said none of the Mad Max have opened crazy and stuff, but it did open worse than Fury Road, which is shocking considering Fury Road is considered one of the best movies of the past decade, and almost like. But I have a Fury Road book, art of book, and the people who grab that thing usually are not movie people. I'm going to be honest with you. It's like people who aren't movie people, so I'm a little surprised. But I think it's also that nobody has any fucking money. I think that might be the big one. I think it might be. Anyway, don't expect to hear good news until Inside Out 2. Don't expect to hear even better news till Despicable Me 4. By the time Deadpool and Wolverine hit, the box office will have been replanted by those other movies. So I guess the story really is animation is going to have to save the day again, basically. Sorry if that was a bummer. I wanted to be real about that element. Apologies. What about Furiosa opening in China? I don't know. The international is still a figure, and a lot of people were bringing that up. I don't know the whole deal with China right now because it's not as emphasized as much, and I think China hurt themselves. First off, cheers to you, Zane Powers. I think China is not as emphasized with Hollywood, and I also think the Chinese box office and their censors and their whole bullshit thing really fell apart with No Way Home. I've heard a lot of distribution people comment on that because they wouldn't put out No Way Home because it took place at the Statue of Liberty, and they said it has to be filmed somewhere else, and Disney was like, fucking no, what's wrong with you? And China was like, well, fine, we won't release it. And apparently Chinese theaters it was like a huge, it's kind of like one of those moments where everyone goes like, this sucks, like, fuck this. And I think that was sort of the end of Hollywood's fascination for China. They didn't get a ton because I think 50% had to stay in China or something. Like they didn't get a ton of money from those things anyway. If you looked at the split they had to do in that country and stuff, but I don't know if it means as much to them, but I hope if Fury Road did well, I hope like in other countries maybe Furiosa will do better and they'll be like, well, internationally it did well enough. I hope so. Hey, if Waterworld can do well internationally, can't like an actual Mad Max movie? You know what I was thinking? We were talking about Kevin Costner a bit. He made 2 Mad Max ripoff films, like The Postman and Waterworld. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that information, but I was like, that's true. He made 2 ripoff Mad Max films. Anyway, all right. Let's go over some things before we get into trailers. Damon Lindelof has signed on to do the Green Lantern show. I think this is a good sign because I really did like Watchmen, and that was, even though it's Vertigo, I counted as DC. But I do think at the same time, I remember when people hated Damon Lindelof and his writing, so I'm always like a little like, oh, Furious is gonna be the first Mad Max movie open in China. Oh, okay, I didn't know that actually. Interesting. I'm a little hesitant, but I do think like he's gotten a lot better as of late. So I think that does excite me. So all right, so trailers. Sinram, are you ready? I was planning on talking about this first, but Wolves, the trailer for Wolves. This is directed by John Watts, who directed the Spider-Man movies that we just talked about. It stars Brad Pitt and George Clooney back together since the Ocean's films. I don't think have they done anything else, but they're kind of fixers, and they've been called to the same place and sort of get involved in a night of trying to deal with a major fixer situation. Those two have great chemistry together. They work really well together. But I also think John Watts, who primarily is known as a horror guy before this, like he did, he did Cop Car, which I did see. There's a review of that there. And the 3 Spider-Man movies. He's good at personal relationships and stars working with one another. You think of like how good he was at directing the 3 Spider-Man and stuff like that. So I'm kind of glad that he went to do like a star vehicle like this. And I think it works with his own filmmaking style. And it looked like actually a lot of fun. Like I was excited. Like I was like, I want to see it in the theater. I want to have fun with this. If not, I have a certain nostalgia for George Clooney, Brad Pitt, because I remember like my uncles and like my father-in-law and stuff would love to watch the Ocean's movies. And I don't have as much love as people my age, to be honest with you, because I always looked at Ocean's 11 as like the one Soderbergh made for the studio, not the cooler art movie. So I was always like, I mean, it was fun, but there was also a lot of hype. If you were into movies, I was already plugged in at that point. There was so much hype for Ocean's 11 to be like the next level thing, and I don't think it lived up to that. But it's still a fun movie. Anyway, sorry, that was my Ocean's 11. Why Jim doesn't like Ocean's 11 as much as like Patrick Willems and all those guys. But anyway, I think it looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited to see it in theaters. I think it's like, I'm also glad like Clooney is good as a fun, like a fun movie star guy. Like that's what I like Clooney being. Like when he does these like, what about if guys are on a boat or whatever the fuck? Or like, what if I'm in a space station or not, or an asteroid? I didn't see that movie on Netflix. Who fucking cares? Anyway, I want to see him be a movie star. The only art movie I liked him in was that The American. That was cool. But other than that, like I want to see Clooney be a movie star. Brad Pitt, I have like iffy feelings about because of what he did to his kids. But like, I'm surprised he doesn't get canceled. It's like super weird that everyone ignores that. But it looks fun. It looks like a fun movie. I'm fucking down. You know, it's also it's interesting. Is John Watts showing off that he has a Soderbergh influence possibly? Anyway, I'm surprised by all the Wolves love. I underestimated Wolves. I will definitely be reviewing Wolves now. I didn't know he was good with the Golden Girls. Nice, Jared Slavalo. I think my favorite Soderbergh. No one asked me this. This is just a thing I wanted to talk about. I used to really like the Limey. Maybe the Limey or Out of Sight. Those 1-2 I think was his best period ever for me. Although that's like I like so many of them. It's like I think there's a lot I'm like if I were to do a tier Soderbergh, you would see like up at the top like a ton of shit, and then maybe like, but yeah, the Out of Sight Limey thing, which Out of Sight was for the studio, Limey was for him. I love that little period. That's really cool. Anyway, Brad Pitt has cancellation immunity. I have noticed that. I have noticed, but if you read about like what he did to his kids, you're like, I don't know if I'd like want to be around him, to be perfectly honest with you. Anyway, the other trailers we got a Beetlejuice trailer, Beetlejuice. It looked fine. I like that Jenna Ortega is just in the Tim Burton company now. And I liked how they did it with the names and stuff like that. That was fun. I forgot about Contagion. Oh, and I also like Haywire. I know Gina Carano, but I really do like Haywire. Anyway, I could go on about Soderbergh. I love Soderbergh. It looked like a fun trailer. I'm not as overly excited. I did find like everyone was like, it's super practical. And then the trailer came out. I was like, that's not as practical as I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I did talk about it last week. Okay, a couple people said I should have. Whatever. I did see it on a big screen. Anyway, whatever. We'll go on. The Beverly Hills Cop 4 trailer came out. It looks like a lot of fun. I actually got to rewatch Beverly Hills Cop recently, so I think I'm down for. I don't know. I'm down for a fourth one. I think it could be fun. I think people need to think about Eddie Murphy when he was in his Beverly Hills Cop prime, because he's really good. I saw on Twitter someone posted the Movie Crap Live that the director of Mike Mitchell said that they expect to have another Kung Fu Panda 5 in 3 years or so. I hope so. I wouldn't mind if we get more of like little minor adventures with Kung Fu Panda. I'd be cool if that was where the franchise went, and not have these like crazier ones like Kung Fu Panda just has a fight somewhere. I don't know. Nattenbox64 says Chris Brown still has a big career, no less. That is true. Like, he's still touring, and what is that song? Look at Me Now. Man, I really love that Busta Rhymes verse, and like no other parts of that song. It is a hard song to listen to because I have to listen to Chris Brown's horrible verse, and even Lil Wayne like was not phoned it in. Like, this is a really good song. Like, the beat's really great, and it's like Busta Rhymes like destroys it, and like Lil Wayne disappointed. Also, Chris Brown's his verse is horrible. Like, it's literally fucking garbage. But like, you thought Lil Wayne is notorious for not letting people body him, and then anyway, cheers to you. Cheers to you, 964. Congrats, Austin and Mario Kart. All right, we should get done with this soon. Both Bob Iger. Get to the break so I can talk about California Love. Both Bob Iger and George Lucas praised AI this week. Fuck both of them for that shit. I'm glad that George Lucas got his honorary Palme d'Or, but I think it's like epically stupid to be proclaiming that. Honestly, I think it's just like not. I think they're both like, AI can be the future, but my still thing with AI is who has made a significant amount of money on AI, and I do think like it is floundering because who's making money on AI? People who make fucking YouTube videos of like, this is what Star Wars would look like in 1945, yet I have never seen a movie from 1945. It's like the worst. It's like, come on. Thank you, 964. Yeah, Look at Me Now is I don't know. To me, it's like a verse of a good song. I really wish Lil Wayne had been better and Chris Brown wasn't on it. So in Hayao Miyazaki news, we learned that apparently his next film is going to be an action-adventure type movie, nostalgic and reminiscent of the old days. I would totally believe it, but it's like from Goro, and like everybody knows, Hayao's not going to tell Goro good stuff. He's going to tell him some random bullshit just to fuck with him, because we all know he fucking hates Goro Miyazaki. Look, guys, this is not a new thing. Their antagonistic relationship is one of the worst father-son relationships I've ever seen in my entire life. But do I believe that Goro is accurate? Possibly. But do I believe Hayao Miyazaki would tell his son something, send him to an opening of the Studio Ghibli Museum, have him give an inaccurate press quote just to fuck with him? 100%. 100% that would happen because Hayao Miyazaki like hates his son to a level that is just insane. I hope they've made up, and I hope that's not the case. But like, I think if whenever I hear a quote from Goro about Hayao Miyazaki, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if that's. I think your dad might be messing with you again, dude. I don't know if I don't know. Goro said he needs Pops to die. Jesus. I would like Goro to succeed, actually. I do think, but he doesn't. Anyway. So we learned that Mike Flanagan has actually signed on for the new take of The Exorcist. He was rumored before and heavily suggested he would. I was commenting earlier that I do kind of want The Exorcist to be a trilogy of filmmakers trying to remake The Exorcist and consistently failing. I think would be actually kind of funny. But good for Mike Flanagan, I guess. So whatever. Richard Dreyfuss gave an insanely stupid Q&A before a screening of Jaws for some reason about basically like anti-trans and like about how he hates cancel culture, and he showed up in a dress to make fun of trans people and stuff. And the theater had to apologize for like a Jaws Q&A. I don't really get Richard Dreyfuss's whole bullshit, but I will say back in the 2000s when I was in film school, he came to our school and did a Q&A. And although we were excited to like see the guy from Jaws and Close Encounters and stuff, he was kind of such an egotistical dick that I remember, because he went on about like, why aren't you in as many, because he hadn't been doing as much, and people were like, I wish you were in more stuff, you're really great, which is kind of a standard comment or whatever. And he made it into this whole thing about like, when I was in movies, the screens were so big and people used to idolize us, and like, and it got weird. And like, we were all pretty young, and we all went, I remember just everybody came like, I don't know, I didn't, like, none of us wanted to watch Richard Dreyfuss movies afterwards. And it's like, that was a pretty big get. Like, Richard Dreyfuss is a big, he's in Jaws. I did like him growing up. I still like seeing him in Jaws and stuff, but he's, I don't know, it was disappointing. I think it sucks. It's also like, Jaws is pretty much your legacy, man. Oh, and he went on a rant about how Gene Hackman was too busy to do Close Encounters, and like he was only in it because of that. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't, like, you're the only person from Jaws still alive. Just like take your kudos, and don't like the thing is like, John Wayne was like racist and stuff, but John Wayne didn't show up like in blackface like taunting a Q&A. Like, he had at least the sense not to do that, I don't think. If he did that, I wouldn't be surprised though. Bad example. Why did I bring up him? Okay, so a few con things, and then we'll do obits, and then we'll move on. It's the pictures that got small. It was not as articulate and as, if it had just been that one line, but he went on for like 15 minutes about like how people used to. I'm like, I honestly do think what happened with Richard Dreyfuss for real is he won. I think he won. He was like the youngest actor to win Best Actor at the time, and I do think that like fucked with him. And you can sort of tell like he always thought he was a great actor, and I think like in certain artists, like if you always think you're great with impunity, it sort of ruins your artistic thing. This is the grilled cheese. I have not killed Zodberg, and he's definitely eaten me. Can someone go and take out the grilled cheese, please? I don't know which one of you in the chat wants to do that, but clearly the grilled cheese has taken over, and there is no Zodberg anymore. Richard is going to be at a con I'll be going to next week. What should I ask him? Don't talk to him, Nathaniel Foga. Run away. Don't talk to him. But ask him about Krippendorf's tribe and why you can't make it nowadays. See what happens. Don't talk to him. Don't. I'm like not even joking. I'm saying this for your own mental health. I don't want you to get yelled at by Richard Dreyfuss. But also ask him about Piranha 3D. How much did the Weinsteins pay him? Cheers to you, Nathaniel Foga. Thank you for the super chat. All right. So the Palme d'Or, there's a lot of cool con stuff actually. The Palme d'Or went to Sean Baker, who won for. Why do I have whatever? Who won for his movie? I believe it's called Anora. Great. He made Tangerine and the Florida Project, and Red Rocket, which I'm going to try to see in review actually before his new one. I'm excited for that. A lot of people thought it was obvious because Greta Gerwig was the president, but whatever. We also learned about that there was a three-way tie for Best Actress. I forget one of them, sorry, but the other ones were Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez. So congrats to them. Oh, no, sorry, for actor, it was Jesse Plemons. All won acting awards at the Cannes Film Festival, which is a huge deal. I think this helps Sean Baker's Oscar chances, but it's also note that only 2 films have actually won Best Picture, who have won who've actually won Best Picture in Palme d'Or, those being Parasite and Marty. And Marty's the only American film, too. So we'll see what happens. Funny thing, Chevy Chase is at the same con. That's the most cursed con I've ever heard. Let's see. Oh, there's a super chat. Oh, hey, there's a grilled cheese suddenly on my desk. Zane Powers, get out of the house. Don't answer the phone. The grilled cheese is calling you from your house. Don't trust the grilled cheese. It is coming for you. It's going to be hard to explain to people why I made grilled cheese evil. Cheers to you. Be careful. Don't eat it. Just throw it in the... In fact, open the window and throw it out the window. Just be careful. Don't let the grilled cheese... In fact, burn the grilled cheese. Get a flamethrower like the movie The Thing. Anyway, cheers to you. Oh, I might be running long. Oh, I think we'll be okay. The other thing before we get to Ovitz is Megalopolis. I actually did a little research because I wasn't sure if this was real. Supposedly, it is real. This is much like the Tom Cruise thing. This is crazy things that Jim is obsessed with. So, in the movie Megalopolis, part of the movie has a person come out to the stage, and the movie talks to the person who's like an actor or something. And a lot of people were like, was this just at the premiere? And I heard on Be Kind Rewind has the podcast Izzy Murtada, and they had talked to someone who was there, and they said not only was that person there at the premiere, but they saw Megalopolis at a separate screening, and in the separate screening, the person was there. So there's a person, if you see Megalopolis, which does not have U.S. distribution, to see it in theaters, they have to hire a person to come out and talk to Adam Driver, supposedly, like a real person, and then he talks back to them. And this is a real thing. I just find it... Anyway, I find that so fascinating that Coppola went that wild. I'm like, I really want to see this in a theater and see like who they get to do the thing with Adam Driver on screen. Like that's like Gertie of the Dinosaur stuff. I kind of like that idea. Anyway, Lucas Anderson, hello. I'm finally back to the stream. Can't wait for the Q&A. We're a little bit away from that, but that is within the half hour, I believe. Anyway, cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat, Lucas Anderson. I'm glad to see you here. All right. I found that to be really crazy. Like the fact that, I don't know, if anyone wants to hire me, who has U.S. distribution, I would totally do that one night. Like do the, oh man, it's my ship for Megalopolis. Can you believe that? Anyway, cheers to you, Lucas Anderson. And Will says Stokes is hell for Jeet Zolblu's sophomore feature Flow, which premiered at Cannes, most anticipated of the year currently, loved Away from a few years back. Okay, cool. I do need to get into those more. Well, I'm sorry. I should get more into those. Lack of time and all those things, but that sounds like a cool movie. So check out Flow, coming out soon. If there's a trailer, let me know. Cheers to you, sir, and thank you for the very generous super chat. I very much appreciate it. All right, I did not get to talk about a Coherence sequel today. I didn't get to fully research that. That'll be next stream, by the way. Specifically telling Will, but yeah, no, I'm very curious. Like, what's it like seeing Megalopolis? A guy named Crystal says, "I'm hoping that a theater near me gets the most apathetic theater employee possible to talk to Adam Driver." I really want to see the results of some of this and what it is anyway. Anyway, cheers to you, Will. Thank you very much for your generosity, and thank you for telling me about the Coherence sequel. I didn't forget. It's more that I want to know a little more, and I didn't think I'd have time because there's a lot of big things tonight. Anyway, but cheers to you. Thank you. All right, so there are two sorry, things, obits tonight. We had Richard Sherman, who's responsible for so much of the great music we all grew up with throughout all the Disney movies, and I think it's very sad. He was in his 90s. Died this past week. I think that is very probably one of the sadder deaths of this year, and really huge musician and songwriter of our times. I think that's incredibly sad to see him go. The other one, and I guess this is, I want to phrase this right because I think it was an interesting, very odd, probably one of the most interesting celebrity deaths I've seen in a while. It was Morgan Spurlock, because famous for Super Size Me, but seeing his death on the internet was probably one of the most interesting. Hello, Botman. One of the most interesting deaths I've seen in a while, because like a week before, everyone across the timeline was just shitting on this guy like nonstop. It was like I think he was trending. I'm not even joking. And like I think people were posting like how he made the movie Where in the World is Osama bin Laden, and how like racist that poster was, and like how much he sucked, and like it was literally like the same week, and then he died, and people were like, wait, did he know? Like, is that like the last thing he heard about his reputation before he died? Is that like every film person on the internet like just does not like him, which is really sad. But it was just very that's like a sucky way to go. It's like, oh wow, I guess my legacy is bullshit. Cool. It was just very odd to me. But you know, this is I didn't fully do a full tweet about this, but his highest grossing movie is not a Super Size Me. His highest grossing movie is the One Direction documentary, which he directed, which is kind of funny. Everyone I noticed in all the things were like all the things starring him, but like his biggest movie was the One Direction movie, by the way. But it is sad to see him go. I think I will say I watched some of the 30 Days stuff, and the thing with the 30 Days series, which was sort of like the concept of Super Size Me, but doing things like him and his wife try to live off welfare for a month, various inadequacies and stuff like that. I will say that was actually kind of a cool show. I think he had some cool concepts. I think he was far too gimmicky for his own good. And there are several people who, even before this, would talk about how he did talk about bigger issues and stuff. It's just that I think what happened with Super Size Me is I saw it in theaters. I was older, but a lot of people had to watch it in high school health class. And like, I think Nolan's the first one who told me, I didn't know because I wasn't in high school and stuff. It told me about how they were like forced to watch it. And I would also not probably like that movie. And it probably should not be shown to people like it was in health class, and apparently it really was. And I think like maybe that was like not actually good for that film's legacy. But it is true, like he did do a lot. He was Me Too, and he was doing a lot of awful stuff, as well as he was a huge alcoholic and sort of lied about that on the Super Size Me documentary, and certain things about his health, which he was not 100% clear on, which makes the documentary and its findings kind of fraudulent. However, it did change the fast food industry. I do think it changed a lot. Like, I was around that summer and we saw all the menus change. As a kid who was like, I was thinking it was like 2021 when that came out, the biggest impact I noticed from guys was that the thing he said about how how he couldn't get an erection was the biggest thing that every guy I knew was like, I'm not eating that after that. That was like, that's really, he could have made a TikTok and said that, and everyone was like, fuck that, I'm not interested. That was, it's like every guy I knew was like, no, I heard about the thing with this. No, I'm not eating Super Size Me, which I think was pretty funny. Anyway, I think he was probably a better filmmaker than we're giving him the credit for. However, I do think he discredited himself so many times over. It's sort of hard to take him and his legacy seriously. However, I feel bad for what happened to him and everything like that. I think it is a sad sad for him to die so young, and I hope he did not go on Twitter the few days before he died of cancer. I really hope he was unaware of that, because I think that would be, like, in all seriousness, that's a shitty way to go. But it is insane that everybody shit on this guy who died the same week. Is wild. That is a wild way to say goodbye to a big. This is insane. I don't know, but yeah, his real legacy is the One Direction documentary. Let's be real. His highest critical. Anyway, I'm going to take a break. I really can't. I really shouldn't go past 12:30. But I'll try to answer as many questions. But I'm going to do my review of California Love, which I found some cool things about. So I'm excited to talk about that. Really, truly, as I love all the Mad Max stuff. Wait, where's the? Hold on, I gotta find the right. Okay, I found it. It's the Wind Rider thing. Um, but I'm gonna take a quick break. If you want to watch California Love, it's music videos there. I think the one that's on the Tupac YouTube is better quality than the Uprocks one, but I'm not 100% on that. So it's about 6 minutes. I don't think I'll be 6 minutes, but you can come back and rewind or something like that. Anyway, I will be right back, and then we will finish up the show. We should be done around 12:30. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you all very much for the super chats. Thank you for being super cool. And enjoy this Ace of the Wind Rider image while I use the bathroom, and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I don't think that was too long. Oh, Will, I did not talk about coherence. I think I just said that, but I just wanted to give it more time, and I wanted to read up on it more. And I noticed there are too many bigger topics. And I didn't want to rush through that, so I will talk about that next week. But there's going to be a coherent sequel. We'll talk about that. It was one of my favorite sci-fi films of last decade, and one of the best. One of the best. What am I saying? One of the favorite. One of the best. But yeah, what happened with the grilled cheese? I was like missing a lot of the grilled cheese chat while I was like talking. Did the grilled cheese survive? I hope so. Oh, wait, I'm not even featured right now. What am I doing? Just watching. Okay, hello. Welcome back. All right. So let's get into. Oh, Jim, I'm not even halfway. Okay, well, you know, I only have so much time. I need to sleep, so I apologize. Wait, Sinram, you hadn't seen that? You really hadn't seen that? I'm confused by that. I've not seen. I did she do sort of a? Why are we talking about Megan Thee Stallion? Did she do sort of a one, two? The cheese is all of us, Jesus. That's definitely going in the thank you movie crap one. Just because I want people to see it, go, what the fuck goes on in that stream? Jesus, the grilled cheese is eating his chat. What's going on? I like the originality here. Oh, but it's okay. All right. I was wondering. I thought it was big enough. Sinram would have seen it. Apologies. All right. So, California Love, the Tupac featuring Dr. Dre, or Dr. Dre and Tupac, or song that's not on All Eyes on Me but was made to promote All Eyes on Me. Look, I don't know. This was the epic Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome inspired music video, which I think Tupac was already a major star, but made him probably one of the biggest stars on the planet in 1996. And I remember when it came out and was an explosive song. Like, everybody was into this song. The video was insanely cool, and it was one of those videos that I think everybody was like, did you see that at the time? And it just had this epic awesomeness to it, and I think it properly reflects the reference that it is referencing, as well as, you know, it's cool when a cool video is with a cool song, and it was perfect, even though it's Mad Max, which is Australian, with California Love, but this video takes place in California, so I guess this is sort of what happens in the post-dystopian world that's not in Australia, maybe? I don't know. Zane Power says, Jim, what about the obits for Doge? R.I.P. Doge, I guess. Here's the Zane Powers. Sorry, I dropped some cards there. They put it back on. Yeah, so apparently it wasn't on All Eyes on Me because Dr. Dre wanted it to be on the Chronic 2, and then the Chronic 2 didn't happen, and he left Death Row. So basically, to sum up this video, and this became a bit of an obsession researching this because I found out a bunch of cool stuff, but we'll get into that. So basically, this video, first off, I love Dr. Dre with the eye patch. I love Tupac's dance where he like does the thing with the arms at one point. When this is a separate video, you won't see me doing the Macarena, but it was cool. And I love the idea of like, basically it starts off, it's like Chris Tucker, and I believe the other guy is Clifton Powell, come in, and he's saying, can you dig it, from the Warriors, and Chris Tucker's like, can you dig it, man? And like, that's awesome. But then, and this is a part I actually found interesting when it when I was watching it, is in it Dr. Dre and Tupac are coming in because this guy won't let them, is kind of like controlling the parties in the Thunderdome or something, and music video plots, it's basically about sale, but they come in and like free all the ladies and then let the ladies dance. But hear me out on this, none of the Mad Max films involved at this point, at the point that this video came out, which is 1996, had involved Mad Max, or Mel Gibson still then, freeing a bunch of ladies. That was in Fury Road. So did California Love, and I'm a little serious about that, did that invent the idea of a Mad Max film where two heroes come and save a bunch of ladies and then drive around in cars and stuff and be happy? Okay, maybe not so much, but But they do, part of the video is they free all these women and they do drive around with them. And what I'm saying is California Love was inspired by Mad Max, but did California Love in fact then go on to influence Mad Max in itself? George Miller's never said that, but the fact that there are dates behind, the last one was, I believe, mid 80s was Thunderdome, and this was 96, and then Fury Road doesn't come out till the 2010s, would argue that the first Mad Max inspired thing where they come and free enslaved women was actually Tupac and Dr. Dre. But anyway, it's basically more of a style video, and they're like dancing and rapping in the Thunderdome sort of thing, and then you see them driving around and the guy jumping on a motorcycle, and all these people walking around, and I think it's in the California desert, I'm not sure. The other guy, Robert Troutman, who's the guy who's doing the vocoder thing. Is it Roger Troutman? Hold on. I should have, yes, Roger Troutman, not Robert Troutman. Roger Troutman, he's the guy who's in the helicopter the whole time, but he is also featured on the song, which went to #1. This was very soon put together very quickly. Tupac had just gotten out of jail, I think a week before, finished the song, and a couple days later they made the video, which is kind of insane, to be perfectly honest with you. This was directed by Hype Williams, and also apparently Michael Clark Duncan is in there. I could never get a clear shot of his face, and I saw larger dudes there, and I'm like, maybe that's him, I'm not sure. But Chris Tucker in interviews has said Michael Clark Duncan was there, so I'm going to believe him because I was not there, so what do I know? But apparently one of the producers said that it was put together pretty quickly as soon as the Dr. Dre song was finished, because the Dr. Dre song was finished well before, and then Tupac came on to it eventually. But it's also, this is sort of a weird song because Ultramagnetic MCs had done similar samples and done similar songs like it. And there's been criticism in hip hop and stuff. And like, if you look at the legacy and the time, there's various songs that are very close to California Love before it happened. But I've always argued, like the Ultramagnetic MCs one, I forget the name of that song, that has similar samples, is not California Love. And I think California Love, all of the pieces of it coming together, is what is sort of the genius of Dr. Dre. Is not just, sure, this had happened before, but nobody made it happen in pop like this. And I think that shows you the production and the prowess and the mixing of Dr. Dre, that he could take all those things and make it the amazing song that it is. Not that, sure, other people had done it before, but they never did it like this, to be clear. But anyway, so this was directed by Hype Williams, who was already a fairly celebrated director at the time, despite what anyone say. It is sort of the thing that launched him to another level. However, I learned something about this video, and this became this became an interesting thing. So I learned that this was not Hype Williams' idea. This was actually developed by Dr. Dre and Jada Pinkett. Yet for real. So apparently, and this became an obsession of mine. I never knew this before. So her and Dr. Dre worked on this concept independently. This has really nothing to do with her. She did have a very close relationship with Tupac. Apparently, like, Tupac sort of just showed up. He was very not involved in the video. Like, he did the verse. Then, like, we're shooting this Mad Max video. He's like, I just got out of jail. What the fuck is happening? But whatever. So she came up with the concept. And she was actually the first one expected to direct the video, actually. This, and I will say, I found Dr. Dre, there's an MTV I Wish You Were Here kind of video that I will link, that will be linked in the description of this, or since you're watching this now, I'll post it on Discord tomorrow or something, where he actually says this. But him and Jada Pinkett developed it. She came up with the whole Thunderdome thing, the whole idea of it. And so then she decided not to do it. Now, this is like an extra rumored thing about this, but the rumor is like she didn't do it, was going to do it, but she bowed out. She said because of family stuff. The rumor has always been that Will Smith asked her not to do it. I think because she didn't want her with the death row people. To sort of defend a little bit that Will Smith decision. This was not the death row of the early 90s with like Nothing But a G thing, and they were like a little bit scary and, you're like, I don't know. This is at the point where Dr. Dre's like pretty much gonna leave. People are getting beaten up for rewinding, tape too far and stuff like that. This is at the point where everyone was like bouncing and trying to find other deals, and like everyone was kind of concerned, and especially when Tupac showed up. So this wasn't, of all the times to not be involved with Death Row, this was the time. So late 95, early 96 was the scary, scary, insane time. I know there's been a lot of weird profiling of them and stuff like that, but this was the point where like the East Coast West Coast thing was heating up. Suge Knight's ego was astronomical at the time. Like, of all times to say, please do not work with Death Row, this was probably the time, to be perfectly honest with you. So I sort of respect that, but it is crazy to think that Hype Williams, I think, again, much like with the Dr. Dre thing, I don't know Jada Pinkett's. I know she's done some music videos. I think Hype Williams, and knowing his direction, I think he's the one who made this video what it was. But I do think she deserves that credit, because it seems like not something like he came up with or he knew necessarily. But he does in interviews acknowledge her and what she did. It seems the story between her involvement in treatment to direction based on who you ask. She says she basically wasn't involved after she bounced from it. Hype Williams said he talked to her on the phone and they had discussions about it and stuff like that. I have no clue. It seems like every person who's involved in this has a different story, and they sort of contradict each other. But we can all agree that Jada Pinkett came up with the idea. Hype Williams made it a classic. I think without him and his crazy direction and stuff like that, but he seems more like he was just trying to capture as much as he could. And there's so much cool imagery between Tupac being an incredible star and magnificent, and I also think his flow on it. I mean, Tupac's flow as a rapper is interesting because he's not as formatted as a Nas or a Jay-Z flow wise, so you can see him like weave in and out. You're never really sure where he's going, and it feels like so alive, especially in this song, that like Dr. Dre is always has someone else write his verses, is very like precise, and Tupac, you're like, he's very much like coming in like a bullet and everything, and he's dancing and he's so charismatic and he's cool in the cars and all that stuff. I actually kind of think I count him as like the in between Mad Max. He was Mad Max till Tom Hardy, basically. I feel like he's an honorary Mad Max, but he was just so charismatic in this. And seeing Dr. Ray, and as a kid, this was the one. I was still into mostly into sci-fi, but this was one that like really got me into Tupac a lot, and it was just like this amazing thing. And it was 96 was the year of the big videos were movie references. This was Mad Max. Smashing Pumpkins had Tonight, which was George Milius. So it was a big movie music video year. But I've always loved this video. I think it is probably the best recapturing the Mad Max thing I can think of, which is why I wanted to talk about it. It's one of the best music videos of all time. It's probably my favorite Hype Williams video. I know he's more known for like the Big Pimpin' kind of stuff and the stuff he did with Kanye West, but I think this is kind of shows like how he was really good at capturing certain stars, capturing like, whether it's Roger Troutman in the helicopter, whether it's Tupac being this big charismatic star, where it's like Dr. Dre with his presence and like everyone, and like having Chris Tucker and having these amazing casts and understanding how to capture a moment. And I think like this shows like how he was good at doing a regular typical rap video, because even his where he do like Big Pimpin', where he's just capturing UGK and Jay-Z and all these people, he's amazing at that. But doing that in a sci-fi setting, I think makes it extraordinarily great video, because he's able to combine amazing sets and a fantastic idea, as well as how he is very, almost like a documentarian, very good at capturing these cool moments and these very charismatic people and with probably one of the best songs and hip-hop songs of the 90s as well. I think this is a proper, awesome tribute to Mad Max and an amazing music video as well. All right. I hope that was good. I hope people enjoyed that. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let's do questions, and then we'll get out of here. Below. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's do the Patreon questions. I have hold on. What's going on here? Okay. Now I have both of them. All right. So, let's do Nathaniel Fogos first. What was the first energy drink you drank when you were younger? I think it was Red Bull. I didn't really drink a lot of um, stuff, but until I was older and I needed the caffeine and stuff. But I think it was like Red Bull or maybe Spark. Maybe I drank Sparks before I drank a real energy drink. That's probably true, to be honest with you. And Austin has a question, but there's another one, and I like to do Austin last. Dr. Z said, or Zane Power said, "Hey Jim, did you know the Totally Awesome Fan Project Archie Sonic Online is releasing their brand new issue tomorrow? Shouldn't ever be shouldn't everyone watching the stream go read it as soon as it's out? And you should totally show off all your own family members at two. Your kids like Sonic after all. Just send them over to archiesonic.line.com anyway for a question. What's your favorite kind of butt or something?" That was amazing. I guess I don't know. I'm not going to answer that, but go check that out online. Um, um, okay, hold on. All right, so we have the Austin asks, "Hey Jim, what a great show you just did for us." I think it was actually pretty good this time. For us, the viewers. I may be gone by the time you read this. He was. As a question, I got to wake up for work really early tomorrow. My question for you is, do you have a favorite Mad Max ripoff or film similar? I have some friends are watching Salute of the Jugger, Blood of Heroes, which is a kind of Mad Max sports movie, which was Rutger Hauer, Delroy Lindo, and young Vincent D'Onofrio, and Hughes Keys Bryan, who was Toe Cutter and Immortan Joe, as well. Produced by Charles Roven and directed by David Peoples, who wrote 12 Monkeys, Blade Runner. Other than California Love, and I'd like to review it, but I don't know if I'll have time. And in general, I'd like to review it. Is uh, Six String Samurai. I really like that movie. I have like a fondness for it, which is probably silly, but I would like to review that. Maybe in the next couple months, I would like to rewatch that. I have a real fondness for it for whatever reason. And before I get to the other ones, I have a super chat from Lucas. Said, "What rapper slash rap group would make the best biopic? No joke. I vote ICP first, Big Pun second, then Brother Ali." I do have actually. First off, cheers to you. Thank you very much, Lucas Anderson, for a second super chat. My for real answer, I may have tweeted this recently, is I think there should be an Eric B. and Rakim biopic, because they were sort of a moment that changed from hip hop going like along with the beat to sort of doing its own rhythmic thing. And like Big Daddy Kane has talked about this, how like the reason there was like this sort of change from old school and new school is Rakim, and what he did rapper wise. And I think that would be interesting to see that moment and how they change hip hop forever. I actually think that would be the best movie, because it could explain like how that flow changes, the history of hip hop, and how important those two were. Because I think they sort of get like talked about by hip hop heads and historians, but sort of like music wise overall, I don't think they're appreciated as much as they should be. And Rakim's a great rapper, and he's sort of a jazz guy. It's sort of different, and I don't know. I feel like, and probably I think because his post career never blew up as much, and like his thing with Dr. Dre never became what they wanted it to be, and all that stuff. But I think he that would on it. My 100% answer is I think that should be it. Also Houdini, because I like Houdini, but that's fine. Zane Powers, thoughts on the David Lynch announcement teaser? I think it's probably going to be his what's that show, On the Air follow up or something. I don't know what it's going to be, but everyone's like it's probably not going to be something too crazy, but we'll see. But that's I hope it's something weird. It's got to be something worth it. Cornbread, don't take this the wrong way. Don't worry, I actually have an answer to this. I'm not trying to be rude, but you said you try and review the last public domain Mickey Shorts Gobbling Gaucho by February. It's almost June. Any updates? The thing is I keep having a different segment. It's always sort of in the running. I would like to do that one soon. Sorry, I haven't It's just there are other segments and things came up, and like there's other stuff to review. So I hope to do it soon. I do plan to do it this year, maybe next week. But it is something I every week where I'm like, what segment should I do? That's always like in the running. I knew I was going to do California Love and the Garfield one these past 2 weeks, and I don't think there's anything this week. The only question I have for Inside Out 2 though is, do I do the director's only other short is a Monsters Inc. short, but then there's an Inside Out short. So which one? That I am a little confused about. Danbox 64, did you know Bill Farmer was in RoboCop? I believe I did. Did the grilled cheese kill Morgan Spurlock? Oh my god. That makes too much sense. Probably. I bet he was going to make a grilled cheese movie and he stopped him. Wow. Man, grilled cheese is powerful. How do you feel, Zane Powers, how do you feel that every medium calls their early period the golden age, is comics, movies, horror, etc.? Do you think that's inaccurate and too self-aggrandizing? I don't actually agree that the early years are this golden period. I think the golden period is usually specific. Like, I would say with comics, yeah, it's like most people think of the 60s, not the early 30s or 40s. So, I mean, it depends, but I do think usually it is, because to me, it's like different periods have different things to take from it. I don't think there is always a great period. But last question from Nattenbox64. Okay, have you ever played Unreal Tournament? No, I don't even know what that is, so no. Black Saxon Winkle, what should the Paul Blart prequel be? Maybe Paul Blart as a hall monitor in school, and then has to deal with a... I guess you can't do a terrorist thing in school. Maybe he's a hall monitor and... I don't know. He's a Boy Scout somewhere. Forget it. I realize too many of these are problematic, so I have no clue. Cornbread, would you trust Dog Walker to banish demons for you? You know what? Probably I wouldn't. So that's why the joke works. Panavision says, AO question, what's your favorite Tom Cruise quote? Mine is, shall we shag now or shag later? Probably, maybe, I don't know what my favorite quote would be. Probably like we're going to space or something. Sodberg, have you ever been killed and replaced by the meal you made? Signed, Grilled Zodberg. No, I haven't. What's the best cheese? Zodberg, what's the best cheese to put in a grilled cheese? I would say do a mix of cheeses, to be honest with you. I think that actually works. Black Sea Oxenwinkle, did you know the infamous Archie Sonic writer and artist Ken Penders released his independent comic after a decade? No, I don't know. I sort of know the deal with that. I'm sure I watched a video about it, but I forget it. But I didn't know I didn't heard that. Same Powers, if you had to pick between having the metro system of other countries or having the airports of other countries, which would you pick? Probably the metro system, because New York subway needs some work. Cornbread, should all rappers who can't freestyle be crucified? No, I think people do too much with that. I think every artist should be able to express themselves how they want to be honest with you. Cinram, did you know that if you type the word kill into a Facebook post, you'll be put in Facebook jail and unable to comment or post for a day or two? All this talk about killer grilled cheese. Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't going to, but I'll remember that. Thank you. Question: the grilled cheese tell me they want to have ketchup. What will happen if they get it? Don't give it don't give it ketchup. Do you believe in work until you die? No, I would like to not, but you never know. Jim, I didn't see this other. Thank you for the other super chat, Lucas Anderson. Jim being busy. That's plain crazy. Nice. I'm assuming that's from the Mickey Mouse thing. Cheers to you. Nathaniel Pogo, best Weezer album, no question, Pinkerton. I don't listen to much past the Green Album, so that's, best and worst cover song you've ever heard. I guess the Puddle of Mud guy doing the Nirvana song, and best, I'd say, I guess Aretha Franklin's Respect, and everyone forgets it, but Zane Powers, will we ever get Conan on the Tonight Show? I mean, I guess he was recently. Thank you for saying hi to Saber for me, Nathaniel Foga. Did you ever have anything supersized? Yes, when I was a kid I did, and it was disgusting. Last minute question for me, since it's getting late, you should probably go to bed. Do you think it's been do you think it's getting a trailer next week. You'll finally talk about Owen Dennis's show or not. Oh, yeah, if it's a new trailer next week, I totally would. And Zane Powers is the last question. If I'm not so crazy busy that I am preoccupied at every hour of the day, am I not working hard enough? Now, I think, I know this is a funny question, but I do think people think that way, but try not to be, because it's a weird way to think. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the super chats, everyone who gave one. This was an amazing stream tonight. The grilled cheese thing was crazy. But I'm going to go. We did run late. If I do times, I'm sorry, the timestamp thing, I never get to it. It just, life, and there's only so many hours in the day, but I will try to do them for this one. I'm proud of this one. I think this was a good show. I hope you guys like it too. Anyway, thank you. Happy Halloween. Okay, cornbread, that was great. Anyway, thank you everyone who did a super chat. Lucas Anderson, Zane Powers, Will, Nathaniel Foga, Nuttenbox64, Bloxy Oxen Winkle, Daniel Vasquez, and Austin. I appreciate it. Thank you everyone for everything. You're a great audience. Have a good night. I'm not sure when the next video will be, but take care of yourselves. See a good movie, and I will see you all next time. Oh, is that a grilled cheese, Jim? Is that a grilled cheese over there? Nice way to go out. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. Have a good night. I'll see you all next week. Wow, fucking grilled cheese. Jeez.